Well, hello, welcome to Fido Live 93. Yes. We still don't have the Chief Colorist with us, so it looks like next week we're going black and white old school. Here is the last colored one. It went out yesterday, 420. You have Dino, Fido, and Felicia. And Dino has just finished his book, and Fido's looking at it on the laptop. What do you think? It's horrible. This is the worst thing I've ever read. What makes you think you can write a book? Damn, you're right. We need to learn how to read. I did it, but odds are I'm right. See, Fido wears glasses to make himself look more intelligent. All right. And that will probably be the last color one we see for a while. I have no news on when the Chief Colorist will be returning to us. He's learning how to walk again. But thank you, everyone who has sent well wishes. Now let me just organize what we got here, and I'll read you what we're doing today. 26, 27, 29. I believe we have 28, no, 25. And 29. All right, I think we're somewhat in order. All right, here is Monday the 22nd. We have Felicia there, there's Bo and Fido. And Bo says, I got these scales to make sure you both get the same amount of food so you won't fight. And he's pouring dog food on one side, cat food on the other side, and the scales going up and down. And Fido and Felicia are on the table to assist. A little more here. Too much. I got it. Add some more. Whoops, a bit more here. Finally, they're even. There. I'm not hungry. Yeah, me neither. Oh, there's Monday. Here is Tuesday. And too bad. I really would have liked to have had the Chief Colorist color this one because I made it so busy. All right, they're in the supermarket. Felicia, Fido, and Bo. You will get me this cat food. It's hot cat food. See, it comes in this special crystal bowl. If I buy this cat food, will you eat it? No, but the crystal bowl makes pushing it off the table more fun. Broken on the ground. Okay, it's too bad the Chief Colorist won't get to color that one. All right, here is Wednesday, a little bit simpler. Bo comes in with a bag of science formula dog food. You're eating this now. Science formula dog food? It's scientifically formulated to provide you with everything you scientifically need. It tastes like crap. You don't scientifically need it to taste good. I think Fido was supposed to have said that line, science formula dog food. But since he's not, I don't need a question mark here. So let's get in here with some whiteout and fix this. There we go. Pretty simple. All right, there's the Wednesday. Let's put this sucker aside. Here is Thursday. Felicia, the whole cast. Felicia holding up her bowl of cat food. Could you melt some cheese on this? Your cat food? Sure. Ugh, I'm not eating that. I hate cheese. Why did you have me melt cheese on it? I'm not going to toss food on that I like on the floor. Here is the Friday. Where are they on Friday? They're in the bar. I knew when I put this lottery machine in the corner, every time I drew them now, they'd be behind the machine and just ruin that establishing shot. But we have the cat boss, Fido and Dino. Notice that the bar is full of cats. You know, there are a lot of good things about cats. Really? Yeah, they're a disposable pet. You don't have to like them. You don't have to feel bad when they die. Yeah, no worries. And the cat boss says, you know, we cats feel the same way about humans. Here's the Saturday. We'll probably be inking this one today. Fido and Felicia are sitting on the couch in the general area. And Bo witnesses them saying, I'm bored. Yeah, me too. Come on, we gotta keep them entertained or they'll make a mess. And while Dino's dancing, Bo is juggling, and Fido says, let's make a mess to give them something to do. Monday, new week. we've got a Bo. She's got a collar with a bell on it. And Felicia, come here. Felicia says, "Gee, I really like to, but I'm a cat. We don't come when called." And Fido pairs, "I don't mind. I got it. Well, what do you need?" Give this to Felicia. "I'm a dog. We come when called and fetch, but we don't deliver. For that, you need a bird, like a stork." "That would be delicious." And here is I guess this would be Tuesday. Let's check the calendar here. Yeah, this would be the last day of April. Let's just write this in here. 4/30/24. All right, and that's the end of April. Wow. Felicia, Fido, and Bo's there in the background. "What do you got there?" "Ice cream made for dogs. You want one?" "You got any cat ice cream?" "It's just a novelty item. They don't make cat ice cream." "Why not?" "I guess some cats have a more refined sense of taste and they just can't make it." "Right." Crisis averted. I wasn't going to share with them anyway. All right, so we'll do the borders on this and set it aside to dry. Then we can go back to probably the Monday or the Saturday, these two, to ink them. We got a little bit of work to do today. Well, let's find a glove. As everyone knows, cartoonists are the dirtiest, filthiest creatures on the face of the planet, and I've got to wear this glove that I just dropped on the floor and made even dirtier. To keep this page from getting any dirtier than possible. And I also like to put down a piece of paper, because as I've demonstrated a few times in the past, with these pencils I use, if you even touch them, you make a mess. Are we still recording? Yes, how lovely. QuickTime is still working for us. So I could just normally put down like a blank sheet of paper, but hey, that would stop me from doing this bit. So anyone might remember last week when I noted that Paramount was now in junk status, and I wonder why. Well, our long national nightmare is over. Discovery has finally been canceled after 5 seasons and 65 episodes at over $8 million per. The original TNG, the Next Generation, was about 1.3 million an episode. Yeah. They had everything they needed to make this a success. They had this deal with Netflix that basically paid for the whole thing. They were going to sell these shorts that make more money. This is going to be like the reason why you would buy the Paramount Network. And I almost got the Paramount Network myself for this, until I saw the first couple of episodes and I said, this is not for me. It wasn't made for me. And it had too much of the message. And Shaniqua Martin Brown wasn't the greatest actress in the world. And well, it was poorly written, and it was created by people, Brian Fuller and Alex Kurtzman, who don't like Star Trek. And what happened the one time they let someone who liked Star Trek run it? He made Picard Season 3, which was the only bright moment in this entire long, painful journey that was Alex Kurtzman's Star Trek. We can finally see it's coming to an end. Speaking of coming to the end is Warhammer. They recently announced that the Adeptus Custodes now include women. Henry Cavill here is planning on doing a Warcraft series. Now, many of you folks don't know quite what this whole Warhammer thing is. They're actually like storefronts where people go in there and they play this game. I've never played Warhammer, but to show my bona fides, I've read the books. Let me get my Kindle going here. I've read the Eisenhorn series, and I think that I've read like 3 or 4 of the Cypher Kane's novels. So Warhammer is in my Kindle. I've read some of the books, but I have never played the game. I'm not a game player like that. I played D&D in college. That's about it. when I was in art school, someone did something with Warhammer. But I thought it was a card game back then. And I just sort of sat there and drank coffee while they played it. So I don't know. Apparently, it's like Dungeons and Dragons on steroids. Since they've discovered that the Adeptus Custodians now include women, these are the Emperor's sons. Let me get the Emperor's favorite sons now include daughters. Everything Americans invest in these days, we just ruin. I don't know why everything Americans invest in, we just ruin. So the Adeptus Custodians now have women in it. So that's probably the start of the end of the Warhammer series. I'm more familiar with what Blizzard did when they made their Warcraft and Starcraft. I guess Blizzard originally went to these people at a Games Workshop and tried to license Warhammer out, and when things fell through, Blizzard did what Blizzard does, and they just stole it. They made their own version of it. But to be fair, then Games Workshop went back and stole some of the StarCraft stuff from them. So it's that was back when Blizzard didn't suck. All right, let me just get some of these papers aside. What else are we talking about here today? Well, what would it be if we weren't talking about Disney? Now, back during the battle for the soul of Disney, they put out this list saying that they've had all this return on investment from Frozen, Toy Story, The Avengers, and we're going to talk about here Star Wars. They claim they have a 2.9, almost a 3% return on investment of Star Wars. And then Forbes magazine, always great to see the mainstream media finally do some reporting, comes in here and says, not so fast. You have not made 3 times investment. In fact, you've owned this thing for, 12 years now, and you haven't even made enough to pay back George Lucas. Disney Star Wars box office profits failed to cover the cost of buying Lucasfilm. Box office profits generated by Disney Star Wars movies had fallen short, $2.8 billion short, of covering the media giant's purchase of the sci-fi saga's creator, Lucasfilm. What this story misses, in Indiana Jones, that movie that they just made, Dial of Destiny, lost $130 million. Willow, which is also part of Lucasfilm, it was so bad they had to take it off the air. You can only get that in bootleg now. They've done a lot more damage. And also what's in this thing, they don't include the advertising. This is just a production cost. So they're even further away from ever making the return on investments that they're claiming. This was a lie. Luke and the Lucas voters get what they deserve. Oh, the Disney voters get what they deserve by keeping this board on. We continue with the dumpster fire. Oh, let me put that aside for now. And adding to the pain of it all, it's like, we could hire people who like the product, who do a good job, like Jon Favreau, or we can go hire the assistant of this Harvey Weinstein guy. I'm pretty sure she can do a great job. We're waiting for the acolyte. And last but not least, Captain America: New World Order. It's going through quite a mess here. Yeah, you got to feel bad for Anthony Mackie. Now, let's see. November 27, 2023. This movie has been in the works since before The Winter Soldier. It has had 6 names and is in reshoots. And one of the things that there was a Jesse Jackson like quote here where people are afraid of certain color skins. They cross the street when they see them coming. January 2024, Mackie snapped on the set, "Can we please have a script?" February 5th, 2024, they're reshooting fight scenes in 4 different ways with different villains. This is something that they do all the time. And in fact, Rogue One, there are 2 distinct versions of that film. We only ever seen one. They should release the other one, see if it's any better. That's what Kathleen Kennedy did. I don't know how many times she refilmed the Indiana Jones thing. That's why it's the most expensive film in their history. But yeah, Disney investors, you get what you have voted for. You deserve it all. So I just saw this TV show on Netflix called Unlocked. Pulaski County Jail in Little Rock, Arkansas. Sheriff Eric Higgins decides that he's going to do a 6-week experiment where he's got this jail where he keeps people locked up for 23 hours a day, lets them out an hour a day, and he's going to unlock the doors and pull the guards out of the ward so that the inmates are running the asylum. 50 inmates. Now, I'm thinking to myself, yeah, this jailer just wants to cut down on the prison population. They're all going to kill each other. But it wasn't a bad show. I kept on counting how many inmates there are, and at one time they said it was 50, and then midway through it, after they find the one guy's making a shank and they pull him out, that they say they're 48. And then when they give them free telephones, they say, there are only 4 phones, but for 40 prisoners. And I say, wait a minute, weren't there 50? 48? Okay, now there are 40. I'm not sure, but I think people were just disappearing left and right on that in this set. So we're going to leave Unlocked on the board for a little while because I think I might have a few more things to say about it. And we usually do at this point a brush search, but I've already decided upon this brush, even though, wow, it really looks horrible. I know that it can be shaped into a decent point. I've been working with it all week. It'll stick with the... These brushes are made of the finest Himalayan tree squirrel pubic hair. And very difficult and expensive to get these brushes because you have to send a Sherpa up the mountain. And the squirrels obviously are not eager to let go of their hairs. I'm just going to quickly do the borders here. You folks have seen me do a straight line with a brush before, but in case you ever want to learn how to do it, get yourself a nice straight metal ruler, wooden ruler. I like the older ones because they're more likely to stay straight. It's got a metal edge. You just click that metal edge to the paper, hold it at an angle, and run the finial against the back of the thick end of the ruler. Oops. You got to try to pay attention while you're doing it, otherwise you get a line like that. I'm just going to get this out of the way quickly, then we can start talking about Unlocked, a jail experiment. So I was looking for this thing to quickly degenerate into like gang warfare. All of these people in here are in jail for a reason, most of them for very violent crimes. But if a bunch of violent criminals can't get along, who can, really? So, the main character, I'll call him, is Randall. He's a sort of a Sam Jackson lookalike, a 50-year-old inmate who was in there for some violent reasons. And... well, some reasons that the courts of Arkansas have judged him for. I guess I could safely say that. And he was the trustee at the time. What trustee does is he helps out, so he gets a few extra privileges. So Randall would pass out the food, make sure everyone got fed. He'd carry around a mop or a broom once in a while, whatever. He was just he was the guy that the guards went to when they needed anything done inside in the area. So Randall carries on with his trustee relationship in this new era, and we more or less see it through his point of view. He's, as one of the older men there, he wants to keep the youngsters from running amok, killing each other. He does a pretty good job. They've got this one really crazy white guy who's they see making a shank out of a comb in the main room. I mean, right under the cameras. They drag his ass out of there. Then they decide, well, we're going to give the inmates free phones because we really want to rehabilitate them, and a lot of them don't have money on their canteen to pay for phone calls. So, we'll give them free phone calls, and hopefully if they can talk to their family, it'll make them better people. Okay. That works out about as well as you think because they start battling for the phones, but Trustee Randall comes up with a great idea of make a phone list. There's no more cutting people in line. There's no more problems. So they're able to work together to solve that. They're able to make just about every episode out of a crisis and then how they solve it. It's rather formulaic in that, but you need that. You need a sort of story when you're doing reality TV, I suppose. Let's see. Then the Trey situation. Randy quits. He's getting so much shit from everybody. He says, "Why am I helping you guys out? Screw it." And he steps back. He's not going to make sure everyone gets fed anymore. And of course, chaos ensues again. Some people don't even get fed. So legally, the prison can't have people not getting fed. They're going to get in trouble. So the prison has to step in there again, and at this time, the places they're running amok. They're making prison wine, and they're smoking what they call coffee sticks. Now, hear me out here. You get a paper towel, you soak it with coffee, you let the coffee dry, and then you roll the dried up paper towel and you smoke it like you would a cigarette. Okay, that's a new one on me. And I was wondering, how do they make the fires? Because I had a friend who was in jail, and at the time, what he would do is he'd take apart the electrical outlet and make a short and was able to catch a piece of toilet paper on the short, and then he'd have a wick to light things with. But these people weren't doing the plug trick, and they came up with a lot of clever ways of making wicks for fires, and amongst them being they climb up and they steal the clock off the wall to get the battery, and they use the battery to start fires. And they get glasses, bifocal lenses, and they sit out in the yard. They have a yard now, where they're able to, after like 7 or 8 minutes of direct sunlight, sometimes get a fire going. But yeah, half the problem was how do you get fire? So eventually, they're smoking so much shit because they also have, besides the coffee, cigarettes, I think somehow they smuggled in pot and other stuff, and they set off the smoke alarms. Prison can't have this. They lock them all down. They toss everyone's bunk. They find all the hooch. They find all the drugs. They find everything, and saying, this really isn't working out now, is it? And the prisoners beg and plead, and at this point, I'm wondering what Sheriff Eric Higgins is thinking. He's obviously made a big mistake here, but he really wants this thing to work. He really thinks that his job is to somehow return these impossible people to society. I'm a horrible person in that I would just say no. But Anyway, he's a politician. He was trying to do his job as he thought best. So I was gonna give Mr. Higgins the award for the most naive idiot in the world, but in the end, he does seem to make the prison less of a hellhole and maybe make better people out of these horrible people. So it was an interesting show, and I was wrong, Sheriff Higgins. I admit, I thought you were the biggest idiot in the world, but I was kind of with the computer. They hit the computer. All the doors are computer operated, and they have a button saying "unlock all the doors." They hit the button. The computer says, "Are you sure?" He goes, "Really? Are you sure?" So I was wrong, Eric Higgins. Congratulations, kudos on a job well done. They do like "Where are they now?" at the end, and a few of them have been released and appear to be productive members of society, where others are, well, at other prisons. They've been sentenced finally for whatever 20-year life sentence. And our main guy, Randy, is still in jail. We don't know why. But he's mentoring now other people. He's no longer the cell block boss. They figured that what would happen is gangs would form up and it'd be whoever was the strongest would be the boss. And which they claimed didn't happen, but I don't know, it began to look quite like a cult toward the end there. Okay, this brush is really not doing as good a job as I hoped it would. Yeah, Irving, could you bring camera 1 in close so I can show these people what I'm talking about? There we go. Thank you, Irving. Let's get the boys up here from, well, are we going to stick with that, or do we continue to make fun of Disney Star Wars failing to see? The line's a little bit thick and less expressive than I would like them to be. Is it the brush or is it me? I think I might have a heavy hand on this today. Big Warhammer question that we can probably ask the cartoonist. Is he going to continue to buy the Warhammer books? Ooh. There it is. There's Mr. Cavell. Is the cartoonist going to continue to buy Warhammer books? I'm at a wait and see point of view. The Eyes and Horns stuff is okay, and I kind of prefer the other ones I've been reading, Cypher Kane. I might go back to read a few more Cypher Kane books, and I still want to get into the whole Horus conspiracy or the Horus atrocity. But I'm gonna wait and see. Games Warehouse has to realize they have flubbed up royally, and I would hope that steps will be made to appease the fans. I mean, imagine trying to gaslight an audience of nerds who like count how many rivets are on a piece of armor. It's like Star Trek levels of geekdom going on here. And now that we have Star Trek back, maybe we'll find out. You have to have people who love these things, and the Games Warehouse people seem to be much more interested in the message. A, and it's not like there aren't any female characters in here. In fact, every female character in Warhammer, I've been told, is incredibly OP, overpowered. It's a complete Mary Sue universe for women, if that's what they want. But this was like the last bastion of untouched, unpolluted sci-fi, and it's a shit show. What's going on? I'm at a wait and see, because I'm pretty sure these people realize that they're gonna lose money, and no message is worth losing money for. And I'm still interested to see what Henry Cavill comes up with. They've been criticizing him. Oh, he almost lost the job on The Witcher because he was playing Warcraft. No, he left the job on The Witcher because, well, they stuck a chick in it and made her lame. So I think that Witcher is still going to carry on with one of the lesser Helmsworth brothers, but only for one season. That's not going to go very long. That's not going to go very far. That's another thing that's lost its audience. And Warhammer, you cannot afford to lose an audience like that. You're still fresh and new. There's so much money to be made. You're leaving money on the table. No one leaves money on the table but Disney these days. But, well, you're going to be the next Disney. Congratulations. Oh. Yeah. It's just nice when the mainstream media finally comes to a story that everyone on YouTube has been talking about for years now. I remember back, I think during The Last Jedi, when they were already claiming that they had paid back Lucas, made more than $4 billion. So they've been trying to sell this narrative for almost a decade. They're no closer to paying back Lucas now than they ever were. And funnily enough, if they bought this thing 12 years ago and did nothing with it, made no films, did nothing, just went on selling legacy stuff, maybe even reissued the films, and even better, let's put that money in in a savings account at 2% interest. They would have paid back Lucas by now. But it's a sad thing. I used to love Star Wars. I saw the episode 4, we call it these days, but the first one, 22 times in the theater. I saw Empire Strikes Back 21 times in the theater. But I was a kid and famously did not discover that Darth Vader was Luke Skywalker's father until many years later. I read it in a picture book. Hey, did you know Luke Skywalker was yeah, where you been, kid? And look at this. I get to draw a comic strip. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've oftentimes said that if everyone drew a comic strip, they'd be happy, but we'd all die of starvation, freezing in our apartments. It's too bad the Chief Colorist is not going to get a chance to color this one, because I'm kind of wondering if she would make those balls or eggs. I left it up open to... Yes, I probably could color these strips, but I don't want to. And why are we here? To make me happy. If I had to color these things, I don't think I'd be as happy. We'll try to get a phone call into the Chief Colorist. Man, let's give it a try now, actually. Oops, there we go. Speaker. Speaker, please.
Vicky, sorry, Mr.
Nope. Try that again.
Vicky, sorry.
Yep. Nope, just getting voicemail. She should be expecting our call anyway, so... oh, yes, and her phone has been very low on charge because it's not charging. I might have to call the place. Well, she can call me on a landline. I always make their hands just slightly too big, but that's just me. If I made the hands to actual scale, they'd disappear. They'd be tiny little things. And his arm, very seldom do I ever do these spaghetti arms like this. Yeah, it's going straight to voicemail, so her phone must be deader than dead. Let's see, do I have, this phone's not good. Make sure the phone's not on camera, because I don't want you guys seeing what I'm doing here. Do I have their number? Might have to use the magic box over to my left to look it up. Let me think. How do you find a phone number? Google. I don't even remember. We used to be able to dial, what was it, 411 for information? I wonder if that still works on, there we go. Well, let's call them. Hi, I'm trying to get in touch with one of your people, Vicky Croce. I think she's on the first floor.
Okay, let me transfer you.
Thank you. Most likely it's a case where she can't even reach the phone. Wonder how many rings they give me till they hang up on me. I'm not going to do the bottom of the shoe there. I don't think it reads right. Well, I guess we're not going to get the Chief Colorist this week. That shoe looks a little small, doesn't it? And you're seeing it head on, that's why. That's my excuse. I think they finally hung up on me. No, still going. Okay, that's started annoying me. That was annoying me. I don't know how you people at home here were dealing with it. Well, I guess no Chief Colorist this week. Are we still recording? Yep, we still are. Alright, let's get this stupid Forbes article out of the way. And it looks like we're settling on Henry Cavill. Hey there, Henry. So, Games Workshop is a British company, as is Mr. Mr. Cavill's a citizen of the UK, or at least comes from the UK. So it's part of the rule. Anything that's British has to have all British staff acting. Part of the reason why Daisy Ridley was hired is because she's from over there. And we knew that they were going to continue to film anything they could in the UK because there was a 20%, 25% tax credits. And the only reason why we know how much Disney has spent on Star Wars is because they've been hitting up the British government. In fact, they're still charging the British government for The Force Awakens. It's a film, 10 years ago? It's been finished. And they're still dipping into the I'm not saying there's any fraud going on, but well, this is the Disney Corporation. And we have many recorded nefarious dealings going on at Reedy Creek. So yeah, I guess I am saying there's fraud going on. Oh, the poor British government. Will they survive Star Wars? Well, just the British are so desperate to have a film industry, they'll do anything. All right. Now let's see. Get this hand, I suppose. Usually I would reference how someone looks when they're juggling, but I just did this all off. I just pulled all this out of my butt. I'm pretty sure the hands are all wrong for a juggling position. I probably should have looked it up. I probably should have looked up how juggling is done. Pretty sure someone will say, that's not how you juggle. See, you have to hold your hands this way, not that way. Yeah, okay, whatever. I'm just a cartoonist. I'm not a juggler. One, two, three, four, five, six. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The cross hatching here on the hair is in tribute to Robert Crumb and his incredible amount of detail to all of his illustrations. And it's even sillier that I'm doing it with a brush. But part of the reason was when I was in art school, they were trying to teach us in animation class how to simplify a character. And amongst the things that you would never do is cross-hatching like that, because it's very difficult to animate. You have to, without it chittering or vibrating on you, you have to get it's. So I sort of, as a joke to myself, when I designed these characters, I did the cross-hatching in the hair. To make the job of animating it, if that ever came forth one day, all the more difficult. Yeah, that's my sense of humor. We do have a script written for a Fido Christmas special. And we're going to do the story where landlady Mrs. Abraham downstairs decides, because Fido's treating her cat Felicia so poorly, that there shall be no more dogs allowed in the building, and Fido has to go into a cat disguise in order to stay in the building, and changes his name to something. Forget what. I'll have to look it up. It's been so long ago I wrote that. And then Dino, wanting to get rid of Fido, tries to rat on him, and Miss Abraham says, "But who are you? You're not on the leash, young man. You'll have to leave too." So now Dino is disguised as a cat in order to stay. And then Felicia gives them cat lessons. 1, 2, 3, 4. So how do I make that into a Christmas special? Well, the subplot is Bo has to buy a Christmas gift for Jane. This all happens during the holiday season. So one of the reasons why they want to stay rather than moving out is because, well, it's cold outside. In the original storyline of this comic strip, Dino was only supposed to sleep on the floor for a couple of days until he got back on his feet. And, well, he never did. And Dino is a character incapable of change. Alright, that's the end of that one. Got that one all linked. And we're looking at coming up to 52 minutes here. I guess we can either do the lettering on that or ink that one. We haven't done lettering in a while. What's more fascinating than watching someone letter with a brush? Why don't we bring up the message, courtesy of the Critical Drinker. See, there's going to be a lot of what's the word? Backlash, blowback. Going to be a lot of blowback from what they've been doing in this attempted social engineering, and there will become a point where they won't diversify anything anymore. Just for fear of making it lame. And I hate to tell you, you got it coming to you. We warned you. If you're going to diversify like this, well, don't make it hurt the story. So this is the Fido font. You might notice that the middle of the E always goes up. A and the H, the middle always goes up. It's at a 22.5 degree angle, because that's the same tilt as the axis of the Earth. And in my mind, if it's tilted the same way the Earth is, it's actually straight. Running close out of room, that one. Whew. I'm going to move the M over a little bit more. I don't have any worries of running out of space. Hand lettering like this, you run into the real chance that you're going to run out of room. It's really close there, isn't it? See, Bo's in the other room and he sees this happening, so he runs around to the kitchen to diffuse the situation. And this is the kitchen if you really can't see the background too well. Got any cat ice cream? Make the cat a little bit larger. That's just her fishing for something to be angry about. I'm not getting a consistent line with this brush. See how fat the C is? Now, novelty item. Looks like it's going to take up a lot of space. I can't inch it over very much more than this, so maybe we can make the letters smaller. I guess that worked out. So what are we reading now? I'm actually reading Conan the Barbarian. It probably would be a good time to go back to the Warhammer stuff. But I might be wasting my time. I only got into it because I heard Henry Cavill was going to make a film, and I just wanted to be somewhat literate about the universe. But if they're going to self-destruct, why waste my time? And Games Warehouse has not self-destructed yet, but they are looking like they're about to. A lot of people have closed their wallets and walked away. Now there's a, they're calling it Warhammer, and people are now playing Old Hammer rather than Warhammer, which is just the old rules. And you guys at Games Warehouse are going to lose millions of dollars, and you only have yourselves to blame for being idiots. Just at a time when people are getting all sensitive about messaging, destroying stuff they love, you come out and do this. Read the room, people. Read the room. Yeah, and the more I read Conan, the more I absolutely know for certain that it can never be made properly today. As one particular story opens with him like in a desert with a half-naked woman clinging to his leg. Yeah, all right. I'm gonna run out of room here with the sense S E. Barely. Even drop that S too low. Oh well. I found that the Fido font I've created here has followed me into the real world, and whenever I write anything in the real world, I do it in block letters like this, and I make the E's with the middle part going up, and the A's with that part going up. The way I've started writing in the real world. And this can't. I'm going to move the make it over to the left here. All right, do we have room to move this over? Keep it on camera? Yeah, it works. We just lose pretty boy Cavill here a bit. This is being recorded during 420. So, smoke them if you got them. I'll be using tobacco today because I don't smoke pot, even though it is legal in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts to smoke pot. I just don't. Certainly hasn't stopped any of my neighbors. Now, there was a police bust outside of my building earlier today. The cops were very professional, and I was, ready and waiting to film a Rodney King-like video. But it didn't happen. I'm happy to see the police doing their job. As obviously this man was a rogue and a scoundrel and needed to be taken off the street. And oops, sorry about that. I knocked Irving out of the way a bit. Stop shaking, Irving. Let's get the signature in here. That way everyone knows who did this. Alright, let's get that out of the way. How are we doing on time there? We're a little over an hour. Alright, I'm going to have the cameraman pull back a little bit so we can... we need a name for this. Yes, how are we going to name this? Let's see if I can get that into the frame. Well, what have we written down today? That's usually what helps me decide. I don't think I've written anything down. The message, blowback. Did a lot on this unlocked. We can do call it unlocked. Coffee stick. Did I say anything funny today? So let's call this the message. Why? Because, well, the message of this show is that I'm not always right. I was sure that Sheriff Pulaski down there in Little Rock, Arkansas had made a big effing mistake. But it looks like he did a good job. Kudos, Sheriff Eric Higgins. If you weren't such a good old boy, I'd say I'd like to see you work up here, but he used the phrase y'all entirely too much. You know what I'm saying. Yes, that's another phrase used entirely too much. Just about everyone is, do you know what I'm saying? 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 Yes, I know what you're saying. Yes, I know what you're saying. Do we stick with the message or do we go, do you know what I'm saying? Ooh, that's more interesting. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, I think I'm going to pull an audible here. Because literally every other phrase that came out of every prisoner's mouth was punctuated by, do you know what I'm saying? We're pulling an audible. Do you know what I'm saying? Yep, that's what we're calling this one. That was easy. Yep, all right. It was the most aggravating thing of the entire documentary of Unlocked, a jail experiment. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I want to return back to the world as a productive member of society. You know what I'm saying? It was aggravating. So at the end of this, they continued the 6-week experiment. Let it go on, and in fact, they showed the sheriff walking into another wing, I guess you'd call it. Another, they got a better word than a wing, but as if he was pulling, going to pull this with some other inmates. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Is Phoebe Waller-Bridge. Hey. The next Indiana Jones, ladies and gentlemen. Indiana Jane. How are we doing on time? We can get started on this, I guess. You know what I'm saying? Yes, I know what you are saying. I can remember when I was younger, we would use the phrase, you know. Oh, wow, look at that. I made a horrible line. This brush ain't going to do it, is it? Look how horrible Felicia looks. Alright. I'm going to have to call this to an end because my brush just did a really ugly thing, and I got to stop it. Thank you for joining us for this week's Fido Live number 92. Do you know what I'm saying? Always remember to, you people at home who are drawing your own comic strips, always remember to put the bottle back onto your ink. See you next week, and hopefully we'll have the Chief Colorist with us.